Story 1. In the small town of Ravenswood, a chilling presence lurked within the police force, a horrifying police officer named Officer Harris. His cold, unblinking gaze sent shivers down the spines of the townspeople, and whispers of his malevolence spread like wildfire. Emma, a young journalist eager to uncover the truth, delved into the mysteries surrounding Officer Harris. Ignoring the warnings of her peers, she embarked on a treacherous journey to expose the darkness that consumed him, armed with her determination and a burning curiosity. Emma's investigation led her to the decrepit police station, its walls oozing with an air of foreboding. She braved the crumbling corridors, each step echoing with a haunting emptiness. As she ventured deeper, the suffocating silence was shattered by the distant sound of a door slamming shut. Emma's heart raced, her senses on high alert. She followed the sound, only to find herself in a dimly lit interrogation room, its atmosphere heavy with a sense of dread. A flickering monitor caught her attention, displaying footage from Officer Harris's previous encounters. The scenes depicted his merciless brutality, his twisted pleasure in inflicting pain upon those he was meant to protect. Emma's stomach churned, her determination solidifying in the face of such evil. In the corner of the room, she discovered a dusty file cabinet. Curiosity overcame her as she rifled through its contents, uncovering a trail of corruption and cover-ups. Officer Harris's influence extended far beyond the confines of the police station, his power reaching into the very heart of the town. The more Emma uncovered, the closer she came to the chilling truth that Officer Harris had made a pact with dark forces, granting him unnatural abilities and a thirst for cruelty. She realized that exposing him would not be enough. She had to confront the source of his power. Guided by her newfound knowledge, Emma followed the trail of corruption to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The once grand residence now stood as a dilapidated shell, haunted by the lingering presence of malevolence. Inside, Emma found a hidden room, adorned with macabre symbols and flickering candles. The air crackled with an otherworldly energy as she discovered an ancient grimoire, an unholy tome containing forbidden rituals. With trembling hands, she deciphered the incantation that could sever Officer Harris's connection to the darkness. As she spoke the words, a surge of darkness enveloped the room. A howling wind echoed through the house, carrying the anguished cries of the tormented souls Officer Harris had victimized. Shadows coalesced into a grotesque figure, the embodiment of the evil that had consumed him. Officer Harris, now a vessel of pure malevolence, turned his gaze upon Emma. The intensity of his eyes sent chills down her spine. With a voice devoid of humanity, he threatened to unleash his wrath upon her, to silence the one who dared to challenge his reign of terror. But Emma stood her ground, her resolve unyielding. She knew that her fight was not just for herself but for all those who had suffered at his hands. The blinding light erupted from the pages of the grimoire, engulfing Officer Harris in a torrent of purifying energy. His form contorted and writhed in agony, his inhuman screams reverberating through the house. And then, as suddenly as it began, the light dissipated, leaving only silence in its wake. Emma cautiously approached the spot where Officer Harris had stood, fearing that the darkness might have found a new vessel. But all that remained was a lifeless figure, a mere shell of the terrifying entity that had haunted Ravenswood for so long. As the town learned of Officer Harris's true nature, a collective sigh of relief spread through the community. The corrupt police force was dismantled, and the town began to heal from the wounds inflicted by its horrifying officer. However, the echoes of Officer Harris's malevolence lingered. Some townspeople claimed to still hear his haunting whispers in the wind, while others swore they saw his shadowy figure in the darkest corners of their vision. It seemed that the legacy of his terror could never truly be erased. Emma, now hailed as a hero, continued her journalistic pursuits. She delved into the history of Ravenswood, unearthing stories of other victims who had suffered at the hands of corrupt officials. But despite her victories, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that there was unfinished business. The ancient grimoire still held secrets within its pages, secrets that had the potential to banish the darkness from Ravenswood once and for all. Driven by a sense of responsibility, Emma sought out the guidance of a wise old librarian who possessed knowledge of the occult. Together, they studied the grimoire, unraveling its complex spells and incantations. They were determined to find a way to rid the town of the residual evil that lingered. Their research led them to a forgotten burial ground, a sacred site shrouded in mystery and forgotten by time. It was said that the power of the ancient spirits lay dormant there, waiting to be awakened by a worthy guardian. Under the light of a full moon, Emma and the librarian performed a ritual, calling upon the spirits of the forgotten to lend their strength. The ground trembled, and the air grew heavy with anticipation as a spectral figure emerged from the depths of the earth. The ancient spirit, with its ethereal glow, gazed upon Emma with eyes filled with wisdom and compassion. It acknowledged her courage and resolved to aid her in her quest to cleanse Ravenswood of the lingering darkness. With the spirit as her guide, Emma embarked on a journey to confront the remnants of Officer Harris's malevolence. Together, they ventured into the depths of the town, unraveling the residual darkness that clung to the very fabric of Ravenswood. In a climactic showdown, Emma faced the embodiment of Officer Harris's evil, a manifestation of darkness that threatened to consume the town once more. With the spirit's guidance, she summoned every ounce of strength and unleashed a torrent of pure light, banishing the darkness forever. As the darkness dissipated, Ravenswood was finally free from the clutches of its horrifying past. The town began to rebuild, its people finding solace and hope in the wake of their shared trauma. Emma, now a revered figure, dedicated herself to ensuring that such corruption would never plague the town again. But the memory of Officer Harris and the horrors he had inflicted would forever be etched in the minds of the townspeople. They would forever remember the bravery of Emma and the spirits who had helped them find redemption. And in the years that followed, the once haunted town of Ravenswood thrived, its streets filled with laughter and renewed vitality. But those who knew the truth would always carry a lingering sense of caution, aware that evil could emerge from the most unexpected places. For even in the face of darkness, the light of courage and resilience would always prevail, serving as a constant reminder that the horrors of the past must never be forgotten, but rather transformed into sources of strength and unity. The people of Ravenswood stood as a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, refusing to be defined by the darkness that had once haunted their lives. Emma, now a respected investigative journalist, continued to shine a light on corruption and injustice, using her platform to advocate for truth and accountability. She became a beacon of hope, inspiring others to speak up against wrongdoing and to fight for a better world. The town embraced a newfound sense of community, rebuilding not only their physical structures but also their bonds with one another. They organized support groups, counseling sessions, and community events to heal the wounds left by the horrifying reign of Officer Harris. The police force underwent a complete overhaul, with a new generation of dedicated officers stepping forward to serve and protect. The citizens of Ravenswood began to trust in law enforcement once again, knowing that the sins of the past would not be repeated. As the years passed, the memory of Officer Harris faded into the annals of history. The town flourished, its once shattered spirit restored. But every now and then, in quiet moments, a chill would wash over the residents, reminding them of the horrors they had endured. The ghostly whispers of Officer Harris's presence still echoed faintly in the collective memory of Ravenswood. It served as a reminder to remain vigilant, to never forget the lessons learned from the past. Emma, too, carried the weight of those experiences within her. She was haunted by nightmares, reliving the terrifying encounters with Officer Harris and the battles fought to free the town from his grip. But she found solace in the knowledge that her actions had brought about profound change. In her moments of reflection, Emma would visit the town's memorial, a place dedicated to honoring the victims and acknowledging the bravery of those who had fought against the darkness. It stood as a symbol of resilience, reminding all who passed by of the transformative power of unity and courage. The horrifying police officer had left an indelible mark on the lives of the townspeople and Emma herself. But through their shared strength and determination, they had rewritten the narrative of Ravenswood, turning a once haunted community into a beacon of hope. And so, the tale of the horrifying police officer became a cautionary legend, a reminder of the importance of truth, justice, and the unyielding spirit of those who refuse to be silenced. The legacy of Officer Harris would forever serve as a reminder of the power that individuals hold to shape their own destinies and reclaim their lives from the clutches of darkness. Story 2. In the quiet town of Blackwood, a sinister figure loomed within the police force, a horrifying police officer named Officer Thompson. His piercing gaze and sadistic grin sent shivers down the spines of the townspeople, whispering tales of his malevolence. Detective Sarah Collins, a tenacious investigator with a reputation for uncovering the truth, became determined to expose Officer Thompson's dark secrets. She was unwilling to turn a blind eye to the corruption that tainted the very heart of law enforcement. As Sarah delved deeper into Officer Thompson's past, she uncovered a trail of unexplained disappearances and unsolved crimes. The more she unraveled, the clearer it became that the horrifying officer was more than just a man. He was a conduit for something far more sinister. Haunted by her own demons, Sarah pressed on, driven by a fierce desire for justice. She knew that she had to confront Officer Thompson and bring an end to the reign of terror he had inflicted upon the town. One fateful night, Sarah received an anonymous tip leading her to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Blackwood. The air was thick with an eerie silence as she cautiously stepped into the dilapidated building. As she ventured deeper into the darkness, the flickering lights cast dancing shadows that seemed to move of their own accord. Whispers filled the air, echoing through the empty halls like ghostly murmurs. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence, reverberating through the warehouse. Sarah's heart raced as she followed the sound, her flashlight illuminating the path before her. In a hidden chamber, she stumbled upon a grotesque scene, a macabre display of human suffering. The walls were adorned with photographs of Officer Thompson's victims, their tortured expressions frozen in eternal agony. A sinking feeling washed over Sarah as she realized the true extent of Officer Thompson's malevolence. He was more than just a corrupt officer. He was a puppet of darkness, a vessel for unspeakable evil. As she continued her investigation, Sarah unearthed a long-forgotten legend, an ancient curse that had befallen Blackwood centuries ago. The curse spoke of a demonic entity that possessed individuals of power, feeding on their darkness and perpetuating a cycle of terror. Armed with this knowledge, Sarah sought the guidance of a reclusive historian who had dedicated his life to studying the town's dark history. Together, they pieced together the fragments of a ritual, a way to sever the demonic influence that plagued Officer Thompson. Under the cover of darkness, Sarah and the historian ventured into the heart of the town, seeking the final remnants of a forgotten sanctuary, an ancient chapel said to hold the key to breaking the curse. Within the dilapidated chapel, they discovered an arcane altar adorned with symbols of protection and purification. With trembling hands, they performed the ritual, invoking the ancient forces of light to banish the demonic presence that possessed Officer Thompson. As the incantation reached its climax, a gust of wind filled the chapel and the demon materialized before them. A grotesque creature of shadows and fangs, it let out a bone-chilling roar, its eyes fixed on Sarah with a hunger for her soul. Summoning every ounce of courage, Sarah confronted the demon, her voice ringing with determination. She pleaded for the release of Officer Thompson's tormented spirit, vowing to put an end to the cycle of darkness that had plagued Blackwood for centuries. Sarah's heart swelled with relief as she saw Officer Thompson collapse to the ground, his eyes no longer filled with malice. In the aftermath, Blackwood began to heal from the wounds inflicted by Officer Thompson's reign of terror. The town's residents slowly emerged from their self-imposed prisons of fear, cautiously rebuilding their lives and restoring their faith in the justice system. Sarah, hailed as a hero, continued her work as a detective, but the horrors she had witnessed lingered in her nightmares. Determined to prevent history from repeating itself, Sarah delved deeper into the ancient curse that had plagued Blackwood. She sought out spiritual leaders, historians, and experts in the occult, desperate for any knowledge that could help protect her town from the lurking evil. Together with a team of experts, Sarah uncovered an ancient artifact known as the Seal of Light. Legend had it that this powerful talisman had the ability to repel and banish dark forces. Sarah embarked on a treacherous journey to locate the seal and harness its potential. Her quest led her to forgotten ruins in a nearby forest, a place where the boundary between the mortal realm and the realm of darkness was thin. The ruins were shrouded in an oppressive atmosphere, their crumbling structures whispering ancient secrets. Navigating through hidden passageways and treacherous traps, Sarah finally discovered the chamber where the Seal of Light rested. It radiated a divine energy, its presence offering a glimmer of hope in the face of the encroaching darkness. But as Sarah reached out to claim the seal, a sense of foreboding filled the air. A familiar coldness crept up her spine, and she turned to see Officer Thompson's spectral figure standing in the shadows, his eyes devoid of humanity. He taunted her with a chilling laugh, his voice a haunting echo in the chamber. "You think you can banish me? You are nothing compared to the power I possess," he hissed, his form shifting between human and monstrous. Sarah's resolve wavered for a moment, but the memory of the suffering inflicted upon Blackwood and her unwavering determination propelled her forward. She channeled her fear into courage, raising the Seal of Light high above her head. In a blinding flash, the seal released a brilliant burst of light, engulfing Officer Thompson in its radiant glow. He writhed in agony, his monstrous form contorting and dissipating into the ether. As the light faded, Sarah stood amidst the ruins, the Seal of Light still clutched in her trembling hands. The presence of darkness that had plagued Officer Thompson was finally vanquished, but the scars it had left on the town and its people would forever remain. Returning to Blackwood, Sarah shared the tale of her harrowing encounter with the horrifying police officer and the power of the Seal of Light. The town rallied together, vowing to remain vigilant against the encroachment of evil and to protect their community from any future threats. Years passed, and Blackwood thrived, its residents forever changed by the ordeal they had endured. The memory of Officer Thompson became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the insidiousness of corruption and the strength of those who dared to stand against it. Sarah continued her work as a detective, using her experiences to advocate for justice and protect the innocent. The Seal of Light remained a symbol of hope, displayed prominently in the town square as a reminder of Blackwood's resilience. But even in the peace that followed, whispers of the horrifying police officer's existence still circulated among the townspeople. Some claimed to see shadows in the corner of their vision, while others swore they heard eerie laughter carried on the wind. For in the dark corners of the world, evil lurks, waiting for an opportunity to resurface. Blackwood, though seemingly at peace, remained ever watchful, knowing that the battle against darkness was an ongoing one. Sarah, too, couldn't shake the feeling that there were more horrors lurking in the shadows. She continued her investigations, uncovering a network of corruption that extended far beyond Officer Thompson. There were others, wielding their power for nefarious purposes, preying upon the vulnerable and exploiting the system. Driven by a relentless pursuit of justice, Sarah formed an alliance with like-minded individuals who shared her determination to rid the world of these horrifying figures. Together, they became a force to be reckoned with, a group of vigilantes dedicated to exposing the truth and ensuring that the innocent were protected. Their efforts didn't go unnoticed. The corrupt powers that grew increasingly threatened by Sarah and her allies. They employed all means at their disposal to silence them, using fear and intimidation as weapons to try and quell their resistance. But Sarah and her team refused to be silenced. They understood the risks involved and the sacrifices they would have to make, but their conviction remained unshaken. The horrifying police officer had been a catalyst for their fight, a symbol of the darkness they sought to eradicate. As the battle raged on, Blackwood stood as a beacon of hope, a town that had faced its darkest hour and emerged stronger. The residents supported Sarah and her allies, providing them with vital information and standing united against the forces of corruption. Their tireless efforts began to bear fruit. One by one, the corrupt officials and officers were exposed, their crimes laid bare for all to see. The town celebrated each victory, knowing that justice was finally being served. But victory came at a cost. Sarah and her team faced constant danger, with threats lurking around every corner. The horrifying police officer had left a mark on their lives, a constant reminder of the lengths some would go to maintain their grip on power. One fateful night, as Sarah walked alone through the dimly lit streets of Blackwood, a chilling voice whispered in her ear, a voice she recognized all too well. It was the voice of Officer Thompson, echoing from the depths of her own mind. "You cannot escape me, Sarah," the voice taunted. "I am a part of you now. The darkness runs through your veins." Sarah fought against the haunting words, refusing to succumb to the terror. She had come too far to be defeated now. Gathering her strength, she confronted the lingering presence of the horrifying police officer head-on. In a battle of wills, Sarah unleashed the light within her, a beacon of pure resolve and unwavering determination. She banished the remnants of Officer Thompson's malevolence from her mind, severing the last ties that bound her to the haunting figure. From that moment on, Sarah embraced her role as a guardian of justice, knowing that the horrifying police officer would forever be a part of her past. She would carry the weight of that experience, drawing strength from it as she continued her fight against corruption. As for Blackwood, the town flourished under the watchful eye of its vigilant residents. The memory of the horrifying police officer served as a constant reminder that darkness could emerge from unexpected places, and that the battle against corruption was an ongoing struggle. But amidst the shadows, hope prevailed. Sarah and her allies stood as beacons of light, ready to confront any horrors that threatened to darken their town. For in the face of darkness, they would always rise, armed with the strength of their convictions and the determination to ensure that justice prevailed. And so, the tale of the horrifying police officer became a cautionary legend, a testament to the resilience of those who dared to challenge corruption and the indomitable spirit of those who fought for a better world. The legacy of Officer Thompson would forever serve as a reminder of the enduring power of truth, courage, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. Story 3. In the small town of Ravenswood, darkness lingered within the very fabric of law enforcement. A series of gruesome murders had plagued the community, leaving its residents gripped by fear and paranoia. The source of their terror, a horrifying police officer known as Officer Morgan. Officer Morgan, with his cold, unfeeling eyes and a twisted smile, struck fear into the hearts of those he encountered. He reveled in the power bestowed upon him by his badge, using it to commit heinous acts under the guise of upholding the law. Detective Emily Sullivan, a seasoned investigator known for her unwavering dedication to justice, couldn't ignore the growing whispers surrounding Officer Morgan. Determined to expose his true nature, she delved into the depths of his past, unearthing a trail of suspicious incidents and suppressed evidence. As Emily continued her investigation, she discovered a pattern, a hidden network of corruption within the police department. Officer Morgan was just one piece of a larger puzzle, a cog in the machine that manipulated the course of justice for its own twisted ends. Haunted by her own demons, Emily knew she had to act swiftly to protect the town from the horrors that lurked in the shadows of the law. With each passing day, Officer Morgan's influence grew stronger, his reign of terror tightening its grip on Ravenswood. Late one stormy night, Emily received an anonymous tip leading her to an abandoned police station on the outskirts of town, a place long forgotten, a relic of a bygone era. The dilapidated building stood as a haunting testament to the darkness that had festered within its walls. As Emily cautiously stepped inside, the air grew heavy, the sound of her footsteps echoing ominously through the empty corridors. The flickering lights cast dancing shadows, and the scent of decay filled her nostrils. A chilling wind whispered through the cracked windows, carrying with it a sense of foreboding. Emily's heart raced as she ventured deeper into the heart of the police station, guided by an unseen force. In a long-forgotten evidence room, she stumbled upon a hidden chamber, a place of unspeakable horrors. Walls adorned with photographs, each one a victim of Officer Morgan's sadistic acts. Their lifeless eyes seemed to follow Emily as she moved through the room. Suddenly, a voice echoed through the darkness, a guttural growl that sent shivers down her spine. Officer Morgan materialized before her, his features distorted, his eyes glowing with an unholy light. "I've been waiting for you, detective," he sneered, his voice dripping with malice. "You can't stop what's already in motion. The law belongs to me." Emily stood her ground, her determination unyielding. She had witnessed the depths of Officer Morgan's depravity and the suffering he had inflicted upon innocent lives. She refused to let his reign of terror continue. With a surge of courage, Emily reached into her pocket and retrieved the talisman, a relic passed down through generations of her family. It was a symbol of protection against evil, a beacon of hope in the face of darkness. As she brandished the talisman, a blinding light filled the room, banishing the darkness that clung to Officer Morgan. He howled in agony, his monstrous form writhing in pain. But the battle was far from over. The malevolent force that had empowered Officer Morgan fought back, determined to claim its prize. In a final act of desperation, Officer Morgan summoned an army of spectral apparitions, the tormented souls of his victims, to aid in his twisted cause. They swarmed around Emily, their wailing cries echoing in the chamber. Undeterred, Emily focused her resolve, channeling all her energy into the talisman. Its power intensified, creating a barrier of radiant light that repelled the ethereal assailants. The room shook violently as the battle reached its climax. Officer Morgan, driven to the brink of madness, lunged at Emily with inhuman speed. But she stood her ground, wielding the talisman with unwavering determination. With a final surge of strength, Emily unleashed a wave of pure light that engulfed Officer Morgan. His form disintegrated, consumed by the very darkness he had embraced. As the chaos subsided, Emily found herself standing alone amidst the ruins of the haunted chamber. Officer Morgan had been vanquished, his malevolent influence forever extinguished. The following days brought a newfound sense of calm to Ravenswood. Emily's revelations about the corrupt police department sparked a wave of investigations, leading to the arrest and conviction of those involved. The townspeople slowly began to heal, their faith in justice restored. Emily, hailed as a hero, continued her work as a detective, ensuring that the shadows of corruption would never again darken Ravenswood. People claimed to catch glimpses of his specter in the corner of their vision, a chilling reminder of the evil that once stalked their streets. Emily knew that the battle against darkness was an eternal one. She remained vigilant, ever watchful for any signs of the horrifying police officer's return. She had seen firsthand the depths of his depravity and would not rest until the last vestiges of his evil were extinguished. In the end, the haunting legacy of Officer Morgan served as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the vulnerability of those who wielded power without conscience and the unwavering courage of those who dared to stand against them. And so, Ravenswood remained forever marked by the horror it had endured. The memory of Officer Morgan would forever be etched in its history, a reminder of the importance of justice and the resilience of those who fought against the darkness that lurked within the very heart of the law.